All right, I think we have about 10 participants with us this morning. I'm just going to go ahead and start the presentation. Just want to note that this presentation is recorded anyway, so if you want a recording of this, I'm sure someone from the Monash student recruitment team will be able to send through a recording to you. So good morning, everyone. My name is Sher Teo. I work in the student recruitment and marketing division here in the Monash Law faculty. And today I'm really excited to have my colleague, Amy Scarlett, who works in the student engagement employability division in Monash Law as well. She will be speaking later about a lot of the great initiatives that we do in the faculty for a lot of our students. So just a gentle reminder, if you have any questions, do remember to pop it in the Q&A function. Monash Law School is the first law school in Australia to offer an opportunity towards a guaranteed clinical legal education. We do get a lot of questions from students and from parents, about what is the CLE. Basically, it's a practical component of their law degree, which is credited. So students have the opportunity to partake in in-house or external law clinics, work in institutions, corporations or businesses for about 6 months. And in return, they will get a credit at the end of the successful placement. A lot of law schools do provide like internship and work experience opportunity, but in Monash Law, we are the first law school to guarantee that. So basically any student that comes through our door, they will have this opportunity to partake in real life work experience. And the CLE really helps to develop the practical side of things for them and really set them up for success in their career pathway down the road. A lot of our students who aspire to be lawyers, but not sure which areas of law they want to get into. Now, this practical component will really give them a good understanding about whether or not they want to practice law down the road. A really good report that we did for the past few years is that about 50% of our law graduates actually don't practice law when they finish the studies with us. Amy will go into it at the end, towards the end of the presentation about, what are the other opportunities or career pathways for our law graduates and what are the other uncommon routes of career options they do have once they finish the degree with us. In our next slide, we can see Dr. Jeff Giddings, who is the Associate Dean of our Experiential Education. He is a strong advocate for our students in terms of preparing them for career success and giving them the access to gaining practical skills when they are still with us in their law degree. So here's a short clip of him talking about the CLE program here in Monash Law faculty.
If you're interested in the possibility of becoming a lawyer, then the Monash program provides you with a range of opportunities that it would be hard to get in some other law schools. Clinical legal education is a form of education that involves students in working on real cases under close supervision on behalf of clients. Well, Monash was the first Australian law school to establish a clinical program way back in 1975, and it's been operating since then. We're now part of another first, which is that we are guaranteeing any student of ours who wants to participate in our experiential program will be given the opportunity to do so.
I'll now pass the time to Amy, who is the Senior Student Engagement Employability Coordinator here in Monash Law. She will talk to you more about the CLE program and the benefits that come with it. Amy, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shi. And I hope everyone can hear me. Shi, let me know if you cannot. But by way of introduction, my name's Amy Scarlett, and I am the Senior Student Engagement an employability coordinator within the Faculty of Law at Monash. So I wanted to, before I skipped through to too many slides, I still wanted to touch on more about our clinical legal education. You kind of have heard the gist of it anyway, but yeah, essentially it's an amazing program, an amazing opportunity for our students. So I work with students on engaging with them within the Faculty of Law in general, but also more specifically to do with employability and what that looks like. So that might be, how can we upskill them while they're studying with us to go out into the world and get jobs? What does that look like? Where, as she mentioned earlier, where are they going, and what are those skills required for those different areas? So there is a broad range of careers, and I'll get to that in a little bit later on, but it is really important for us to be aware of that, obviously, so then we can help understand and help our students understand where they could be going with their careers. But the clinical legal education is an amazing opportunity for our students to gain that insight, that real life working insight while they're still studying. So as you can appreciate, you know, it is a bit tough to get a job this day and age, and it is tough to figure out exactly where you want to get a job, especially as a student. And I'm sure that you will come across that quite frequently, especially in the early days. So we have a variety of industry partners that we work with on our clinical legal education. And the amazing part about this is they can, you know, have a taste tester of it. I think it's just as important to figure out that they, clicking away. It's important for them to know what they do want to do as much as what they don't want to do. So if they go into, say, do in-house counsel somewhere and they're like, wasn't really for me. No, I have my heart set on, you know, being in a commercial law firm. That's where I want to go. Or no, actually, I really enjoyed this. This is great. This is where I want to go. Or no, don't want to practice law at all. I actually want to take my degree and work in a different space. So that is definitely, you know, what does happen. There's a lot of different variables. And there was something that someone said to me once that, you know, students with a law degree are not only just valued as future lawyers, that law degree gives them a lot more value than just that. So they've got a lot of analytical skills, you know, a lot of writing technical skills, and the like. So it's a really good degree to get into. A little bit more about what we do within the Faculty of Law at Monash to provide our students with those opportunities further to our clinical legal education. So we have a program called the Life After Law School. Now that is in the form of a podcast as well as a physical seminar. So you'd appreciate at the moment we haven't been running our physical seminars this year in light of COVID, but you know, last year and the like, we were running them physically. We have been focusing on our podcast, which was released early this year anyway, which was fantastic. So what that essentially is we bring in employers or people that have a law degree themselves, and they're working in some capacity, but that is not in that traditional sense. So they're not typically from that commercial law background, or, you know, necessarily being a traditional lawyer. It's more about what else can you do with your degree? What else exciting sort of opportunities are there available? Because, you know, I do hear time after time students, you know, wanting to understand and know those information, and this is that's a really good way of hearing it. And as we all know, you know, when you're speaking to students about this is your opportunity, this is what you could do, this is how you can do it, so on and so forth, to actually hear it from those real life stories, those people that have been in their shoes, those people that are saying, you know, I was a law graduate and I was aspiring to, you know, go down that clerkship process, and when I did, you know, I didn't enjoy it, or, you know, I didn't get through, or I did do it and I enjoyed it for what it was, but then I realized that I was interested in another field, so on and so forth. So it's really important for them to understand that, because, you know, a lot of the time they think that there is, you know, there's obviously a lot of information about certain career pathways for them and the obvious ones, but there's, you know, how you understand and how can you find out about the others. So that's a really good program. And the podcasts are about 30 minutes long. So they're on the major sort of, or a lot of different sort of podcast offerings, so, or applications, should I say. The next one is our Law Ambassador program. So those students, part of this program, they apply to be in it at the start of the year. and it is about 100 students that get taken into that program. So there is an application process. We do get a lot of interest in this one. And this one is a year-long program whereby the students get to work on projects that are aimed at improving their employability skills. They're at bettering the community. They are to enhance the student experience, and this year specifically they have to be able to function online in some capacity. So they get to pick their groups this year. They get to pick based on, you know, the interest that they might have had. There were some topics thrown out there, and then that's just giving them a guideline, and they really get to create some amazing work. And there has been such amazing work come out of this because they're creating it for their own cohort. They're creating it for themselves, you know. What was I doing when I first came into uni? And for example, we've got a group there that's interested in talking and providing guidance to high school students coming in to university to understand what it is that it takes to get into that degree, and what it's like in that degree, and how to figure out if that's really where they want to take it. So that's just an example of a group project that's currently working at the moment. We also have had some that have carried on for a couple of years. So they've created a website. There's one called International Legal Careers, where they have a whole range of information from different countries about what is the eligibility criteria to practice as a lawyer in a different country. So some amazing things there. I could sit here all day talking to you about the different sort of projects, but you know, we only have a limited time. So some great projects there, but what those students also get in return to be part of that program is they get workshops. So those are aimed at improving their employability skills, and then also, you know, supporting their projects. So for example, we had leadership workshop, which is talking about, you know, being a leadership in your own right, not just being, you know, that one leader that is taking on the, you know, everyone else and supporting everyone else. It's also about embodying and being a leader. Embodying the leader that you want to be, and growing yourself. So that's been a really amazing one. We've got one about how technology intersects with the law. So there's obviously a lot of buzzwords around that, tech law and the like, but what does that actually mean, and how do you actually figure out what that means and what those skills are? Do I need to be a coder? Do I need to, you know, be really good at IT and the technical elements? Or no, do I just have to understand what that means? Does that mean that, you know, I could be functioning my practice in the future online, or working for a new law business or organization where they, you know, are accessible via apps and they go out to client sites versus, you know, being in an office where someone has to go to them, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different things in that space, and there's an amazing opportunity for those students in that program. They get to do a showcase at the end of the year to show off or present the amazing work that they've done, and you know, good on them, because they definitely deserve it because they've done such hard work. And as I said, there's some students that are in that program year on year. The benefit to that as well is those students that have been in the program for longer than a year have the opportunity of taking on that mentoring role. So they can actually support and mentor different projects and project teams within that program. Those students also are ambassadors for the Monash Law School. So if we have a variety of a variety of events or programs where we need some student assistants or volunteers, they get on board. So it might be, you know, what's a day in the life of a law student, or sitting on a panel or something like that. So yeah, that's a really, really good program, and year on year, it just keeps getting stronger. So I am heavily involved in that. I actually am the coordinator and run that program itself. We also have the High Academic Achievers program. So these students don't elect to be in it or apply. They just get it by way of, you know, achieving the highest academic results for the year. And in that program, they get various offerings as well. So it's a group of 35 students, and yeah, they get to interact with industry, and we, you know, have some sort of opportunities for those students as well. But it's a really good, strong program, and you know, that changes obviously the cohort year on year. We have the industry and alumni mentoring. So this is where it's quite self-explanatory. We have interactions with industry and alumni, and they'll be mentoring students. So that's coming to fruition during semester 2, and we also have some programs, niche programs that have been in the pipeline for a while. So obviously a great experience for students, get to interact with industry and alumni to find out what it's like, you know, once they step out of university and working, and how to get to those spaces and the like. So that's a really great program. We also have a peer-to-peer mentoring program. So you've got students that have been within Monash Law for more than a year, and they can choose to take on that mentoring role to support first year students coming into law. So that's a really great program. There's a lot of fun activities, and again, it's driven by the Law Student Society. So they themselves are students, and they know what students' needs and wants are. So I obviously support that program, but it's a really great opportunity for them to take the reins on that and provide the students with the experience that they, you know, like to had themselves and think that students would like. So some really great mentoring and support programs for students coming in. It can be, it is a massive leap, you know, going from high school to university. So it's really great to know that they've got that support there. We have the industry seminars. So I guess that could be anything outside of I guess the traditional life after law school programs, or how we have interactions with industry and like law ambassador programs. It's kind of anything else. So for example, we had a commercial law firm come in a couple of weeks ago, well, not come in physically, but they performed a seminar via Zoom, and they talked about something that was topical. So it was to do with property law and the changes and the effects that they've seen since COVID, which was really great and interesting to hear. So students get to understand and hear that and go, wow, that's really cool. I'd love to be in that space, you know. And there was a graduate recruiter on there that they got to answer any questions about what's your graduate program and process and how does that work. So I don't know, just for everyone on the phone or Zoom call here, just to give you a bit of insight, the law students go through what they call a clerkship process, and that, or they don't have to, they can choose to. And if those firms that are part of that clerkship process is part of the LIV guidelines, the Law Institute of Victoria, they, you know, have an application process open, and that's in July and it closes in August, and then they get to do interviewing, and then there's an offer date at a certain time. It's the same, you know, all those firms that are part of those guidelines have to make the offers on that certain day at that certain time, all together. So it is quite interesting. If you want to find out more information, I recommend checking out the LIV website, Law Institute of Victoria. But yeah, there's quite a lot of, obviously, that's as I was saying earlier, a bit more of a traditional pathway, an obvious pathway. It's commercial law sort of space. So a lot of students are interested in going into that space, and a lot of our students do go on into working into those spaces and those organisations. So yeah, it's good to have an understanding of that if you know, want to talk to your students about what that looks like beyond university, and while they're at university, how they go through the application process. So we do a lot of work to support our students through this time, and you know, we've got some events coming up in the next month or so, whereby the students are getting to have more of an understanding of that. What's the application process look like? How do we do it? So on and so forth. Just going a little bit off from there, we do have a central services offering, which is part of Career Connect, and they do, you know, you can, the students can put through their CVs and they can get some insights as to how that looks and updates on that. How to write their cover letters, how to go through the application process, the STAR technique that you might be familiar with, and the like. So there's a whole range of resources available to our students all year round, which is amazing. So yes, they're available to all students at Monash. Going back to Monash Law, we also have the ABL Corporate Law Seminar Series. So we have a partnership, or where we're working with ABL as a corporate law firm, and they come in and present, which they did last year, 3 physical seminars. So really great opportunity for the students to hear, again, topical matter, which is in line with what they're learning in their corporate law or company law subjects. So those are the JD and the LLB subjects. So it's, you know, essentially they're learning in the classroom, that means technically, but then they're actually hearing the practical element of it from these partners and senior staff members from ABL, and what cases they've actually seen and been involved in, which is where they're saying, taking your classroom, what you've learned information, and this is how we've actually applied it. So that's a really great opportunity for our students, and they also get to do some networking at the end. So they have grad recruiters that come along to that, and again, like I said, you've got some partners and some senior staff members from there that come in and take the time and have those conversations with students, and the opportunity to network and ask all those questions. So really, really great opportunities there. I wanted to run through these virtual experience programs and the Monash Law Careers Directory with you while I have you all here, just so that you can see it, because it's easier to describe things when you're showing it sometimes. But the virtual experience program is in conjunction with Inside Sherpa. So I don't know if any of you have heard of Inside Sherpa. Just want to make sure, Sheila, let me know if that's changed over and you can see the page that I'm trying to demonstrate.
Yep, all good. Perfect. You can see it.
Thank you. So essentially, Inside Sherpa works with organisations, and they bring in virtual experience programs. So these ones here are for law students, and now specifically, and as you can see here, it's got the Monash branding. And what these are is an opportunity for students to go in and have a taste tester of, say, Ashurst, and go through an actual experience program online to do like maybe a case study or whatever Ashurst has worked with Inside Sherpa on, to then students can go along and have a go at that, and then go, hey, that was really cool. That's exactly what I want to do. Oh, cool. Ashurst has got applications open. I'm going to, go apply for them now. And they can have the opportunity to ticking a box whereby they let Ashurst see that they've run through that virtual experience, and they've got results from how they've gone or whatnot. You can see here that Monash has their own JD. We have our own program, so students can get insight as to what it's like to study at Monash Law before they actually do it. So that's really great opportunity there. And as you can see here, there's a whole range of different sort of organisations. So we're working with Inside Sherpa on this page, and it's really great because students can go from our direct, website here and click on one of these links, and it takes them off to that page. So really great for them to gain those insights and understand actually what it's like to work in that space, because, as we all know, it can be quite different. You hear things, you're getting everyone's feedback, testimonials and the like, but until you actually experience it yourself, it might be different to what you envision. So really good opportunity for students to get involved there. And then following on from that, we have the Monash Law Careers Directory. So this is in conjunction with Prospal or Graduate Australia, whereby they already do all this sort of stuff and students have access to this, but this is specific to Monash law students that, they've obviously got the jobs that would be applicable to law students. And they can go on here and apply directly, and really great functions on here. When you go into them, they have advice and hints and tips, and you can see here graduate stories, and people have actually, done their own sort of students or graduates have already done their own ratings on the firms and the like, for future prospective students to actually see what it's like if they want to take on a position there or apply for a role there, because the clerkship process and application process can be quite lengthy, and application process in general, just anywhere, can tend to take up time. And I think that's it's an important thing, because those organisations that you're applying to, they want to know why that student or that individual wants to work there. They want that detail that student understands what it's actually like to work there by their research, and that research can involve doing something such as a virtual experience program previously, or reading up on that organisation's website and tying back their skills that they've gained through their extracurriculars, through their part-time or casual job, or through any sort of volunteering and fundraising exercises that they've got involved, or exercises or programs that they've got involved at university, such as Law Ambassador program, and what they've they've learned and how they can utilize those skills that they've learned through those experiences and take that into real life work. And I think it's really important for students to understand that, you know, you don't have to have worked in a big law firm. You don't have to have worked in that space that you're wanting to go into. It might be, you know, working in the CUB, Carlton United Breweries, and it might not be as a lawyer, it might just be within a different department there. And, you know, you don't have to have that direct experience. You just have to be able to explain why you want to work there, you know, have an understanding as to what it is like to work there, or what, you know, they expect the role is to be, and then demonstrate the skills that they've gained in their experiences as to, you know, directly tie into, I've got lots of discipline, you know, or I've got really great organisation skills, I directed a play, or whatever it might be. And, you know, through that experience, I learned X, Y, and Z, and then this is how I can apply it in a situation such as at your firm because of X, Y, and Z. So I think it's, you know, these extra opportunities are really important for them to have access to, and they can know, you know, whether or not it's actually a space that they're interested in working in the future. So that is it for the, I guess, what we're doing within Monash Law. There's obviously a lot more programs that we do that fall within maybe that industry seminars category, and anything ad hoc, and, you know, academics presenting to students, or there might be academics coming from around the world that are wanting to, you know, present to our students on certain subject matter. So really great experiences and opportunities available to our students. Debating, there's a debating society, there is the LSS, which I mentioned earlier, the Law Student Society. They're huge, and they do a lot of initiatives and programs, you know, support programs. We have the Monash Law Library that has a lot of offerings and support when it comes to the technical writing and the technical elements of students' work. We have counselling support services available for free for our students. We have a lot. So Monash as a whole, and then Monash Law specifically as well. Again, we could be here all day, but I mean, it's good just for you to know high level what is involved. And obviously, you know, we're absolutely open to questions, which is going to get to that slide, which I've kind of skipped back and forth to a few times. So sorry for doing that. But Shira and I are happy to take any questions. If you'd like to ask them in the chat function, please do so, and we will read it out and then answer them.
Thanks, Amy. We'll just get everyone to pop your question in the Q&A function. We've got a comment by Alison about how the virtual experience can be targeted to undergrad students as well. Amy, can I quickly get you to click on the Insight Sherpa page?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you scroll down to the JD one, the Monash JD Start Your Journey Now, it's basically 3 units where students can partake and get a feel about how studying law is like. To be quite frank, it's not that difficult to understand. It's pretty straightforward. I think anyone will be able to go through these 3 units without much difficulties. However, we do have a Introduction to Law virtual experience by King and Wood Mullison. So Amy, if you go back to the main page, and if you scroll down, I think there's a King, that's the one there, Global Advanced Law Virtual Experience Program. Just, yeah, that's right, King and Wood Mullison's. So this one is targeted to high school students from basically year 9 and above. And if you think that you want to know more about law and whether law is a study option or a degree option for students, I think this is one of the great examples of students being able to go onto it and then learn more about law. And it's bilingual, so the program is in English and Mandarin. So for any of the career practitioners, if you do have a lot of Chinese or Mandarin speaking students, I think this is absolutely a great program for them to participate in. I will definitely share the link. We do have a Monash Experience Without Boundaries for high school students, which we use platforms such as the King and Wood and Mullison's and other virtual law firms to help them understand how it is like studying law. So I'll definitely share the link with everyone at the end of the webinar, or we can get like the Monash student recruitment team to send out the link at the end of the session.
Yeah.
We do have a question, Amy.
Yeah.
So are most of these programs aimed at later year level students? I'm guessing.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
Certainly not. Yeah. So my title is engagement and employability. So I guess maybe my employability component comes through quite a lot. So apologies for that. But yes, there is a lot of these programs are open and available to all level students, including first year, especially as I mentioned earlier, we've got that peer-to-peer mentoring program. So that is aimed at supporting first year students coming into Monash Law and getting that support through that program with peer students. The LSS, as I mentioned, is really big, and they have a lot to do with various programs, whether that be, you know, fun, interacting ones, if it's got to do with networking and working with industry. It could have to do with any sort of support with regards to study and the like. So they do a lot, and they have a huge student following or involvement, should I say. So there's a lot there. We also, going back to that ad hoc sort of element, we offer a lot of different events, opportunities, programs. We work closely with the law library. So the law library puts on a lot of meetups, catch-ups with students where they talk about studying and how to access resources and items like that. We put on, you know, panel sessions where we have previous year students come in and sit on a panel and talk to first year students about what it's like, and, you know, ask any questions you might have, and they can be delivered at different times and in different ways. So it could be during, you know, orientation week, or it could be, you know, first couple of weeks of uni, and not only are these programs, you know, everything that I'm mentioning right now is specific to Monash Law, but you've got to think the university as a whole does a huge amount. We've got MSA, Monash Student Association, I believe, is the name for that acronym. Yeah, there's lots of different societies and the like that students can get involved in, and free programs and events. You know, we've got lots of central divisions at Monash University that do a lot of, you know, programs and fun things and supporting wise for our students. So certainly not all skewed towards, you know, final year students. It's all throughout. And something that I actually want to add on to that, even though I was, you know, kind of, I talk a lot about employability stuff, it's actually really important for students to start considering their career early on, once they come into university. And it shouldn't be a scaring, you know, sort of component like, oh, you've got to figure out your whole life and where you're going to go straight after school. That's absolutely not what I mean. It's more, you know, I've heard that other countries that students consider, and universities and the like, do a lot of work in the space of really early on with students, and students are actually considering their career early on at university. And it helps out because, in my opinion, as I said earlier, it's not just important to figure out what you do want to do. It's also to figure out what you don't want to do. And the only way that you do that is by putting, you know, getting involved in as many opportunities as available. And there is heaps. We promote lots of events that, you know, external businesses come to us and say, hey, we've got this event going on for students that they can come in and learn more, like what it's like to work in our organisation and the like. And we also, you know, as I said, hold actual events and stuff at school. So there's a lot that students can get involved in straight away. So just start figuring it out. Like, they're going to university because hopefully that they're wanting to upskill themselves to, you know, give themselves an opportunity as to go into the career pathway that they want to go to, and that choice. But it is really hard to figure out what you want to go to. And they might come into uni and go, that's it, I'm going to become a lawyer and that's all I'm going to do, and that's all my focus is on. And that may happen, but that also might not. They might come in and they might realize, like, I don't want to just become, like, I don't want to become a lawyer. I want to use my law degree to get me somewhere else, or I'm doing a double degree and they're both supporting my future career journey, or whatever it might be. So yeah, I know that I talked a lot about employability, but that is skewed towards first year students. A first year student can listen to a Life After Law School podcast for 20 minutes and they can hear about someone's career journey. I was listening to one yesterday, and one of the students' career journey was, she is a recent Monash Monash Law graduate, and she was talking about how she went through that clerkship application process, and even before that she was dead set on working at a law firm, and that was because she had experience in year 10 at a law firm or something like that, and from there onwards she knew that's what she was doing. But then throughout her process at uni, she realized that wasn't what she wanted, that traditional pathway, and she ended up going to another business and doing something that's not in that traditional sense of as a lawyer. So lots of programs and opportunities for all year levels is my short answer.
Well said, Amy, well said. And I guess I think we start early, and we ease all our students, starting from year 1 all the way to 4th year. Like we give them all these opportunities and options for them to figure out what they really want to do, because maybe like a first year student, like you said, the person might want to be a lawyer, but then towards 3rd or 4th year in his or her undergrad degree, he or she might realize that they don't want to be a lawyer anymore. So I guess with a strong focus with employability, it really helps students to understand what they really want to do when they graduate.
Yeah.
And we have
another question.
Yeah. So the question is, can students at Monash just contact with you via email to organize a meeting?
Yeah.
Tricky one.
I certainly have had those. And again, I'm happy just to have, because a lot of these events and programs that I've just referred to within the Faculty of Law, I typically am there to, facilitate it or do the opening or, in some way, shape or form. So I, get students asking me questions, and that might, be general, or it might be specific about a law pathway that they want to go down. And obviously I'm not a lawyer. I have an accounting background, and I, won't pretend to know everything about every, way that a student could utilize their degree. And if they've got a specific interest, I have passed them on to people within the law faculty that have, a specialist in that space. So as we mentioned earlier, we've got that clinical guarantee, and that clinical guarantee, we've got, lawyers. Those lawyers are the ones that are supporting and overseeing our student work, because our students, part of that clinical guarantee, they are doing real life work, and they need to have a lawyer there to be supporting them and overseeing their work. So having that amazing access to all those different individuals within all different types of areas of law is been great. And, they themselves have been really open to giving insights and talking to students about that. So definitely had students contact me directly, and whether that be that I can just have a conversation with them, that might cover basis of all some of the other programs that I run, or if I also can point them in the right direction to have a conversation with someone else to give them more insights.
It really also depends the question that the student has, because we have a lot of other support services within the law faculty, like the student services, and then we have the law librarians and the skill advisors, which will be able to help them as well, because a lot of our skill advisors working in the library do have a LLB. So it depends, I guess, on the nature of the purpose
Absolutely.
of the student, but we have a whole wide range of services that we support our students here in the faculty.
Yeah, and as she's saying, like adding on to that, no one question is just going to be standard, like and no one person is going to have all that information. There's a variety of information, and that is why it's so great that we have so many different options for students to go to and support them, because that is a wealth of information that no one person can harbour. So it's really great that we can obviously put them in the right direction without having to get them bounced around to several different people. It's usually a straightforward great question, I can't answer that, but I can pass you on to this person, or I'll get this person to get in contact with you. So
Fantastic. We have about 3 more minutes to the end of the session. Just want to quickly check with everyone. If you do have a final question, you can pop it in the Q&A function. We're happy to answer any final questions that you might have. Or Amy, on to the next slide. I think there's our contact details. If you would like to know more about the things that we have discussed, feel free to reach out to us.
Got another question here. Where do I find this careers and employability page? Google is your best friend. It is mine when it comes to this. So I can bring it back up for you to see, but I literally just Google Monash Law, careers and employability.
Amy, are you able to copy that link and pop it in?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's even
fantastic.
Better. I will do that. Let me type that back to you and then send. There we go. I think I've done that right. Here's talking technology. I like to wing technology. I think, isn't that a good thing to try? Yeah. Oh,
should be okay. Okay.
You mentioned earlier the percentage of students who go on to practice law versus those who don't practice law. What was it again?
50%.
Well, yeah, there's that, and then it's also there'll be different. There's lots of different articles that are out there as well that have been out there in the past. But it depends on what university and what student cohort and the like. But yeah, Sheer said it's 50% that may go down that traditional law pathway and may not. But typically you'll find a lot of our law graduates from Monash, a lot of them will go in that space of law. So it might be even a little bit higher than that.
And also a lot of students actually pursue a postgrad degree. They go into LLM or like they go into teaching as well. That's actually getting quite popular. Yeah, because some few of our students who are interested in doing a PhD, or some of them even come back to Monash Uni and started their career as a teaching associate. So there's a whole range of careers that they're able to choose from. So not necessarily practice law. And we do have a lot of double degree students as well. So they might be doing a law commerce or law arts.
But I do think that from Monash Law, you will find it'll be on the higher side. Like it'll probably be closer to 60-odd%, maybe even more. I don't know the exact number that are going into law or working as a lawyer in some capacity. But yeah, as in I have read articles though about graduates in all of Australia, how many are graduating with a law degree and how many traditional sort of, maybe commercial law firm sort of roles there are available. So, yeah.
Exactly right. Amy, can I quickly get you to share that King and Wood Mallison's Inside Sherpa link with everyone?
Yeah.
And you can pop it in the chat function to all panelists and attendees.
Yeah,
so to all the career practitioners, if you would like to share that virtual experience with your students, feel free to get them to join on board. I guess that's the end of our webinar. Thank you so much, Amy and Tessa from Monash Student Recruitment Team, and also to all attendees. Lovely to e-meet everyone. Hopefully we'll be able to see each other back on campus very soon. But thanks again for attending, and have a great day and keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.